everyone, welcome to my astrology reading. It's more of an astrological understanding because we are really in an amazing place astrologically. So much happening. We're going to have 7 retrogrades. We're going to have two moons in the month of August, which makes it a blue moon. So it's once in a blue moon, and you know what that means. Doesn't happen that often, and that's more in the realm of thinking, in our beliefs, in our understanding of things in our past. So Venus is retrograde, which is the most important retrograde for us all at the moment, because Venus rules love. And of course, we will all be thinking about past loves, mistakes we've made, how our lives have gone in one direction or not due to a love situation in the past, and how we've affected that, other people have affected that, how parental pressure has affected that, how children have affected that, and all this is going to be coming into our heads. But even though it's August and it's the 1st of August, and that's a full moon, and when we deal with that in Vedic astrology, it's in Capricorn, which rules governments, and you know there's a lot going on with governments at the moment. And Vedic astrology is very different to Western astrology. I try to understand both because I'm an astrologer. I'm called Higherself Magic, by the way, and if you're listening to this channel, then welcome. I do an astrological update once every few months. I usually just do my intuitive card readings, which I bring astrology into as well for separate signs. But this is for everyone. It's a collective one because we've all been going through the same pressures, and the last 2 weeks have been horrendous, I think, for most people in July. The last 2 weeks in July, the first 2 weeks of Leo season, really. We went from Cancer to Leo, and we felt a real pounding in our heads regarding what had happened in the past and how it affected us, and made us sad very often, nostalgic, full of grief. And a lot of us will have been experiencing this, and the culmination, the coming of this full moon, we're here in the early hours of the 2nd of August, so we've just had this full moon, and the culmination has come with this full moon, in the sense that not many of us will have slept well, I don't think, because of the tremendous pressure on us. We've sort of realised how important our role is to other people in our lives, possibly parents, children particularly, or a partner, depending whether you're in a relationship or not, and how one of us is the grown-up in the relationship and one of us is the child. And I mean, with parents, as they grow older, they can become the child. So we can have children that are grown up and still be childlike. It's a tremendous realization at this moment of whether you're the grown-up in any of your relationships or the child. And you start to kickstart changes in that. If you don't want the overwhelming responsibility of being, say, the King of Pentacles, which is what I've pulled these cards for this reading, and the King of Pentacles came up. But I was going to bring these in as I was talking. And yeah, the 10 of Pentacles has come up, and the King of Pentacles. And it's like, to get the 10 of Pentacles for your family, you have probably had a big sense of financial responsibility, whoever is listening to this reading, and become the King of Pentacles for your lot. And this full moon is saying, do you like being in that role? Do you like being the grown-up? If you are the opposite, you are the child, you will be getting the storm warnings that are coming and saying you can't stay in that role forever. You have to shape up. You have to come out of the childlike aura, the Page of Pentacles, and grow into the King of Pentacles over the next few months. So anyway, we don't say once in a blue moon for nothing, because it really, this month creates massive shifts in our psyche, and because it's packed with astrological activity, we are on the cusp of change in all ways for ourselves. Possibly we'll go into the best relationship in our lives. Possibly we'll go into the best job of our lives, because we won't make, in this new world, we're not going to make the same mistakes we made in the old world. And when we had the signs, the nodal signs, the change in the nodal signs, we went from Taurus to Aries, and we in the North Node, and we went on the 21st, and we went of July, and we went from Scorpio to Libra in the South Node. We entered a new phase. It could be for the next 18 years. That has changed the world. It's the people that are asleep are still asleep. The people that are awake are awake. And this is possibly what the King of Pentacles is saying. You're either one of the ones that's asleep, or you're one of the ones that's awake. If you're awake, you're realizing your responsibilities, and in a way, you don't want them all. If you're asleep, you're beginning to get kicked up the arse, because Saturn is retrograde, and it's saying, wake up, you need to get on that journey bridge and start creating for yourself. You need to start becoming more aware of what is necessary for you. Now, this moon has called for us to not make big decisions, rash decisions, do things out of turn, and you can so easily. Yesterday, I negated a document, a legal document, because I crossed something out and wrote on it, and I've got to pay for it again. So that was a very rash decision, and I would not normally do that. So the 1st and 2nd and 3rd, 4th of August, please beware of your actions. Please be aware of your thoughts. Please be aware of the fact that we have so much happening in the skies that are going to affect you and bring old emotions up, and they're going to merge in with fear and anger. You know, you're going to feel all these things. And I, even though I'm an astrologer and I'm totally aware of what's happening and how influential the moon can be, I tend to not keep a bottle of water near my bed when there's a full moon, because it really affects the room. So I'll try and leave it in another room. I find if I do put a bottle of water near my bed, I do get very, very emotional, because the moon pulls on water. Look at what it does to the sea. So keep that in mind. I've got some notes on dates, so I do have to refer to them. So Saturn is the ruler of this lunation, and Saturn, as we know, is the lord of karma, and he's out there creating karmic lessons, giving karmic lessons. Some signs have gone through their karmic debts, Sagittarius being one of them. They've paid their karmic debts, but Aries hasn't paid them yet. Aquarius is paying them, coming to a close with that. Leo has paid them. I think the sun signs, not the fire signs, but the signs, Aries, Sagittarius, are real fiery signs, much more than Leo. Leo's more of a sun sign than Sagittarius and Aries, but all of them are affected by the sun. much more than the moon. And but yet everyone is being affected by this lunation. And I'm a Sagittarius sun, and I'm a Pisces moon, and I'm a Leo rising, and I have been tremendously affected. I've been absolutely super tired, and problems have been hitting me on the head. And what Saturn is saying is you have to confront these. You have to face your demons at this time and take on a more no-nonsense approach. You know, if you've done wrong or you've made the wrong decisions, put them behind you, move forwards like the Queen of Swords would do. And the Page of Earth is here. It's about good news about financial matters. So I think for all of us, our financial situation is going to improve. It's been really, really static for a lot of signs, particularly Sagittarius, Aquarius. I read for them a lot. Taurus particularly as well. Aries not so much. Definitely for Leo. Scorpio not so much. And Libra, these signs will not have been affected by financial constraints as much as the ones I've just mentioned. And the ones that have been facing the financial constraints will have felt the biggest pressure with this full moon, because we got the need, this is still here, the energy of this full moon is still here. We got the need to solve things, to solve our financial problems. And some of us will not have been able to do that. But we felt like the Fool would say to us, I have to take a leap of faith. I have to take a leap of faith, and I have to, like the deer jumps and runs, you have to take that leap of faith and believe in yourself if you want to achieve not only 10 of Pentacles status, but 10 of Cups status. If you want your relationships to be healthier than they have been in the past. I think we're all tired of those competing goals. The Five of Fire, all the five cards are troublesome, and I think they're very indicative of this full moon and the 2 weeks that have been ahead of it, in front of it. The next 2 weeks are going to be more of solving, but the ones we've just passed have been very problematical and have put us in a Five of Fire situation where we've had bothersome details, conflict with ideas, conflict with others, competition with others. But we are moving out of that energy, because Aquarius is the energy of the future, and it's playing a large part, as is Mars. Mars has trined Jupiter, and so we've got a massive Jupiterian energy going on at the moment. It's trined Jupiter in the Sun, and it's really trying to lighten up our load. Okay, so the moon brings us a lot of changes in our head about the way we have to go forwards, makes us feel very pressurized, and brings things to our own awareness that we have to solve. And by the time we get to Virgo season, which will start around the 21st of August, we will have a bit more clarity in our direction. Our paths are being considered, and we are really considering the way we need to go. Now, one difference between Vedic astrology and Western astrology, if you're interested, is that Vedic astrology concentrates more on the stars and the moon, whilst Western astrology concentrates more on the sun. And And the sun in our opposite sign is also very important. So, for example, Sagittarius's opposite sign is Gemini. Um, Another thing I'd like to say about this moon is, and the season, is that we came out of the new moon, which really gave us a very sort of, as I said, the 2 weeks before this full moon. We had the Cancer new moon, and it brought so many sort of, the watery effects of life. If you're doing a water painting, you can actually splurge it and make it into something else very easily. And we realized where we could maybe have made things better, or whether we could have actually merged things into our new life. And it's a bit like that film Sliding Doors. So Cancer's ruler is the moon, and that Cancerian feeling is very strong in this full moon even. So you'll be feeling a lot of Cancer traits right now. You'll be feeling a lot of Aries traits that are in the North Node, and they will be pushing you into understanding your leadership qualities, the fact that you can be really confident in certain areas. And the Libra in the South Node is going to make you assess your relationships. As I said, are you the baby? Are you the child? Or are you the grown-up? Do you want to be the grown-up and look after the other one all the time? Or do you want to have a more balanced relationship? A lot of relationships will go with Libra in the South Node, and especially while Saturn is kicking asses until November the 4th. So be very aware that a lot of breakups could occur. The next thing astrologically is the Lion Gate, and I will be doing more on that as it comes. That's the alignment of the sun. It's like having two suns, and it's a portal that we go into the new moon with on the 16th of August. So I will be explaining a lot more about that mid-month. So listen out if you do like my astrological readings. And this means we have to look inside ourselves. We have to look back with Venus retrograde to solve the problems from the past so we can move forwards. And by the time we get to that new moon mid-month, we are going to have that will be in Leo, we will have a very intensive energy for all of us. And Mars being in Virgo is pushing us in a certain direction also. So we're slowing, we're going to be really slow in the next 2 weeks. We're going to be really slow. We're going to be feeling very tired. Not as tired as tonight, or, today or yesterday, but we are going to be feeling very tired. Our bodies will slow down. So August is not a time, in my opinion, to break a lot of new ground. It's a time to reinforce the areas we are working on and to think how we can stride forwards more positively. So I think we're going to lose that feeling of grief. I felt it tremendously yesterday, and I don't know whether anyone else did. If you did, please drop your feelings in the comments below. But Mars being opposite Saturn has given us a very low energy, like we've got a glass half full in our hands rather than a glass half a glass half empty in our hands rather than a glass half full. And even if you're a person that looks at life with a glass half full, you still will not have been able to balance that to its full potential. But Mars trining Jupiter is helping us become more optimistic. Don't fight the tiredness. Really start to look after your health. Listen to your body. Listen to how it's feeling. If it's tired, rest. So what's really happening though, whether it's Western astrology or Vedic, is the stars are becoming more important. And the moon with Saturn in Aquarius has got a fixed star, and that is so important for all astrology. Now, I recommend a person I know very well's book. It's a YA novel, but it deals with humanairies, it deals with moons, and it deals with stars. And I just feel this book really lifts people that I've given it to, and that people want, who have read it, have just said it's made them go into a new world and they've not been able to put it down. So I'm going to put a link to that book in the below. Um, and I would read it in the next 2 weeks if you get a chance, because it really does change your psychological way of thinking regarding good and evil. Okay, it's a fantasy, and you could say it's a young person's fantasy, but we're all young at heart. And I think reading and getting in tune with the fairies and the angels, you can see my angel candle there, can help us break things up. It can help us break things up in our mind so we understand them. And when unexpected things happen, we can take them on board. So and we will see the good in ourselves. We will become more awake to our possibilities, and will level with our own energy. And I do think this book really helps you do that. It has some sort of magical power. When we get to the last week of August, you're going to realize that all those small incremental changes you've made in your life in August really will count to you having a better September. And if you start to think now about what you can change, you will change it. Okay, so I'm going to take some cards for these signs. Just remember that all of you, whatever sign you are, has been feeling the pressure of the King of Pentacles, the responsibility of it all. So let's just dwell on that responsibility, take the good things from it and leave the bad, and sort ourselves out and look forwards to a better September. August is not going to be bad, but it's really a month for churning things over, for going with the astrology, for letting things happen to us. The universe is very powerful, and I do believe we have got sometimes no control over our fate. What is meant for us will come. What is ours will not pass us by. And there's going to be a lot of people coming back into your life in this Venus retrograde. I've already had 2 since the 22nd of July come back into my life, making contact. I'm not saying I've had them in my life. I don't think necessarily a big love affair would be a good idea to take back, but until Venus retrograde is over, because you'll be able to see things in a different light if you really want that back. I wouldn't take it back until after September the 5th. I wouldn't date anyone new until September the 5th, or a little few days further on than that, really, because this is not a time for that. But you will have people coming back in from your past. Let's take a card for let me try and get everybody in the right order, but I'm just going to start with Aries first. So I'm going to take the cards, have a shuffle, and we'll take the one for Aries first when Sarah Elizabeth tells me to stop. Sarah Elizabeth is my spirit guide. She's my girl. The messages come from her, mostly them from me, but the astrology comes from me because I've studied it, and not because I'm overly religious, but the Bible deals with so much astrology as well, and it's really predicted this time in our lives. So the Greek gods, look at that, Venus, etc. History is part of our astrology, and I'm a historian first and then an astrologer. So I've had some cards drop. Let's make that Aries. Okay, Aries, expect powerful change. Taurus, a time to give rather than take, okay? Cancer, you are good enough. You often think you're not. Leo, the end of a tough cycle approaches. Virgo, don't let pride get in your way. Someone's telling me a Virgo wants to get back in touch with an old love. Libra, a new romantic cycle begins, possibly even with someone you are with right now who you did not think was the right partner for you, but you start to become more romantic with each other. Scorpio, don't let your past hold you back. You might have some skeletons in your closet that you're not letting people know about and that worries you. Sagittarius, a time for healing. Capricorn, your commitment is being tested. Possibly you are in the wrong relationship. Aquarius, nothing is yet set in stone. Pisces, believe in the impossible. And who have I missed out? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've got one sign missing. Well, I'm really sorry. I'll give you a special reading because my brain has just gone dead. As I said, this full moon has really affected me. So someone's been left out of here. Just going to have a quick run in my mind. Sorry, folks. So someone's been left out, but I will... A Gemini. Oh, let's take your card now. Gemini, opposite side to Sagittarius. Look at the bigger picture. So really, Gemini should have come up at this point. But never mind, Gemini, that's yours. Look at the bigger picture. And I'm getting a message for Geminis. You have been denied yourself something, sacrificed something because of respectability or things you thinking are not at the right time. Well, it's saying look at the bigger picture. To make yourself happy, you have to include what you denied yourself. So I don't know whether that makes sense to anyone here. So there we are, 12 signs, 12 cards. I hope you've enjoyed my reading, and I hope you're understanding a little bit more of this astrology, and as they say, once in a blue moon. So something is going to be revealed to you. Someone is going to come forwards with information that's going to put your past into clarity. Someone is going to say something to you that might make you go down a different path. Someone might offer you an opportunity in work that's going to change your financial world. Someone might step up in your life. Libra, I'm talking to you more. The other person who was the child and you were the grown-up might step up and you start to feel more romantic with them again. There's just so much that can happen in this month behind the scenes. Let the universe bring those things to you, and you just have a good old rest and see it all unfold like a movie. Okay, take care, lots of love. Higherself Magic here, and if you get a chance to have a read, you want a summer book, read Tredicina and the Medallion Keeper. You won't be sorry. It's absolutely brilliant, and I'm going to pop it down in the link below. One, you'll be helping an author on her journey, and two, you'll be giving yourself a magical experience with humanairies, Lone Star fairies, the stars and the moon, and everything else. So until the next time, sending you lots of love.